All right, we are live. It is Tuesday, June 9th, 2026. Just for archival purposes there. Want to just mention that. Okay, how is everybody doing? I hope everybody is great. I was a little late to um, putting this together. So hopefully we still get people somewhat to watch, but I was actually helping a friend move an arcade game today. It was obviously, I mean, I know I have Toy Story here behind me all the time, but I do have other arcades. Um, if you follow me at all, I'm anyway. Um, we went and got a Gauntlet game. I don't know if you guys remember the Gauntlet series, Gauntlet Legends. Well, the game that we got was the original Gauntlet. A friend of mine, I rode with him to go pick it up and everything, so I was a little late getting the show started here. How's everybody doing, Mike? You were at Lakeland. Hopefully, you did all right, and Mike and Margaret. They sounded pretty positive on Lakeland this weekend. I'm going to talk about that here in just a moment. Jonathan, hopefully, you're doing well, and we'll probably see you. It looks like you're going to Joe Fest. You'll probably see you maybe up there. Right now, I do plan on going. I think and Mark plan on going up there, and Lisa. Now, I'm gonna follow up with Lisa because she was at a mall show and something about air conditioning she was talking about, and then hopefully she did all right at the show this weekend. I got some stuff for you. Also, I'm gonna anyway. I'll be following up with you here soon, Lisa and Chris and Tanya. See, this is the first time I didn't pay attention to your husband's name. So Chris, there. These guys have cars and Toy Story and Monster Jam stuff. So if you were at the show and you saw that, that's kind of what they have at their booth, and they're really the only ones with those items. So I think they do pretty well. And JD, you thanks for coming on. We're was going to follow up with you to see how Plasticon did. So, I'm not really, they were doing some kind of, Chaz comes to our shows when he's not having a show. And then, they were doing something. It was very confusing to me. I think it was, like at a theater or something like that. And then we got Sean, there was this last weekend, did a great job helping us out. And then Tony from Shellhead, I assume this is Tony, will be having his show at 8 o'clock. I'll maybe check in on that. Maybe we'll be talking about some upcoming stuff or whatever. And then Marcy, I believe Marcy and Alan did pretty well. Alan decided, he didn't know what the reverse gear was, but I guess we had some blocked traffic here. They stopped over my house, which was pretty cool. Anyway, all right, and Andy, we'll see these guys this weekend. A bunch of these guys we'll see this weekend, but in Ocala. But the first thing I'm going to talk about is Lakeland. Okay, our Lakeland show. Oh yes, I'm gonna just, since you brought this up, give him a raise. He's raised up to a second table. It's a long. He's doing good. I actually did give him extra this weekend. He did a lot of work. So a lot of work. But anyway, talking about the magazine for Toy Warp there, and I appreciate your help there. But what I'm doing is I am just so behind on this thing. I really want to do this magazine thing, but I'm just buried in kind of paperwork almost. I mean, I'm going to be putting out the guest list tomorrow. I'm going to be well, maybe not the whole list, but I'm going to be putting out the guests for Tampa Toy Con tomorrow. I've got to order product, shirts for vendors and shirts for for merchandise, because we're almost out of that. There's just a lot of things that I got going on, and I just have not been able to work on this magazine, unfortunately. But I do want to do that. I got to figure out how I'm going to organize that to get it moving. Um, and thanks for coming and watching. You missed a great show there, William. I mean, I know you were enjoying the chill up there in PA, but and then we had Alexa here, great show, the neon sign. Yeah, yeah. The pictures I posted, I don't think it really does it justice in person. I think anybody that and the Reginas, I'm glad you had a great show. Where is our buddy Retro Cajon Retro? We haven't seen you in a while, man. Hopefully we'll see you for Tampa or whatever. Haven't seen you in a while. I see your video. I see little clips of videos, but we love to. But man, okay, all right. We'll want to talk a little bit about Lakeland. This was the opening of coming in. I took a little shot here. I just a little background. Little background on the show. I had to. We only had a little bit more. Let's say I would say about a month and a half to really put this show together. Okay. And this is a completely new date. And I wanted to move the show out of August to see if anything changed. I do think that the attendance was. We had a record attendance for one day at Lakeland that we've done, I think, since the beginning. And then the other thing, I think there was more people there for. Lisa, would you agree that there was more people there for day one than we've had even at a 2-day show where day one?
Yeah,
right. Agree. Yeah. So we had a record turnout for one day for sure. And so, I believe everybody was happy and everything. And let's see, William, you guys had a show in Columbus. I was showing everyone your line from Lincoln. They were jealous. Oh, wow. So you're saying that they didn't have a line in Columbus then, I guess. Okay. And it was over 1,000. Just you guys, just for one day, it was over 1,000. Okay. Chris.
Over 200 people just the first hour.
Yeah. I think you told me it was like 250 for the first hour. That's what you said. But yeah. So hey, and I'm glad you guys did well, Shimon there, and stuff. Right. Okay. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and show up other pictures here. You had these guys. These guys come from down in Fort Lauderdale, Coral Springs, I think, area. You'll see my little neon sign over here on the left. But yeah, these guys and he I guess he had been talking to the guy that had the Unicron, met him in Tampa, and then they brought it, and that thing, we haven't had one of those at a show in a long time. So he was really happy with that. This was our entrance. I was gonna have with the movie coming out, I was gonna have in fact right behind the Flynn sign. That's how big this thing is. I had the classic Snake Mountain and the Castle Grayskull behind there, and I just didn't have time to set it all up. Excuse me. This is Greg Fuller there at the front, shelling out, books, comics. We had a good couple comic people there. And then, this was our show. We were missing some normal vendors for this event, which was Richard Norad and Abe and a few people. I was actually worried about filling this up because they were all at WrestleCon up there in St. Augustine, but we ended up filling up, and I think everybody seemed to be pretty happy. Maybe not Alex here, but this was at 10 o'clock. But you could see, there was people in there already, and Marco seemed he was happy to have that spot because usually that's taken up with Richard. Okay, and then we got me messing around the sign here. and Angelo. Okay. I think I started to take some pictures. Let's just look here. I think I started to take some pictures for people that said they were coming but didn't show up. Okay, so that's my other thing. So I'm going to go ahead and talk a little bit about Ocala here. Let me go ahead and I'm going to move that. I'll only sort that out. Okay. All right. So this weekend, so just to go over Lakeland again, record one day for Lakeland. I'm going to try to contact them about another date. I even thought about maybe trying to do a November date again. If we have the June, maybe do a November. We usually do a show in Cocoa, but I haven't been in touch with the Cocoa people. There's a whole new management there. So I might try maybe a look. I got to get a hold of the Billy guy there. He's retiring. So I want to make sure that I get our date set up for next year. I'm going to try to maybe do it around. I don't really like, I would like to make it where it's not on the same day as the WrestleCon, but and then but the first week of August it's just tough with the school starting. And then let's see. I do think the date changed. We are back in our regular space, which is 15,000. I just think it's the right crowd, size. To me, that building, 12 to 15,000 is our perfect spot, our perfect size. We just can't seem to find spaces that are that big. But that's for our show. I think it's the right size. Okay. Now, going forward here, we're going to have Ocala this Sunday. It is sold out. Plus, I've got people every day asking me for space for that. And I just want to say that we are going to be looking for a new location. The Hilton is nice and fine and everything, but I think that we need a bigger space for this show. And when we started last year in Ocala, I wanted to make sure people were going to come. And so now we're going to try to go somewhere else. I mean, chances are I'm going to try to just book the equestrian center of some kind of space at the equestrian center. I'm a little afraid to book anything like crazy big, but that's probably where I'm going, because I had talked to them first originally, and I just said I wanted to do a few a couple trial shows before we went there. But now I do have a lot of vendor interest, and we've got a decent size interest from customers. And so it's just going to take some time to move there. So that's going to be next year. And so we're going to be in this space here this weekend. And then we're going to be off to Tallahassee. We're going to be off to Tallahassee the week after that. Okay. That's one day only, the 20th of June. Let me go ahead and make myself small here. The 20th of June in Tallahassee, the North Florida Fairgrounds. And we've got a lot of interest in that. And I think I've got 2 or 3 spaces left in that up there. No, it's not going to be, I don't think we're going to call it a Secret Santa show, but I guess maybe it might be. Someone else said something about maybe doing it in November versus December. And hey, August, yeah, we missed you there in Lakeland. And the equestrian center is huge. Okay, and yeah, and Lisa, you're right about that. I just wonder if that crowd is going to come for our show. So I mean, it is you guys, the space there is, I think the building is 100,000 square feet or something. And so when we split it up, it's 50,000. So to put it in perspective, okay, if you guys came to Kissimmee 2 weeks ago, that whole space, if we didn't drape it off, was 25,000, I think 23,000, somewhere in there. So it's literally double that. So we would, I don't know what we would do, but everybody would have plenty of room. I can tell you that. It would all be 10 by 10. So, and Okay. All right. Yeah. I've got something saved for you there, Tony. So we'll hit you up later on. Okay. And then Mike was there. Hopefully you had a good time at my house and at the show. Okay. All right. So yeah. So we're in. So just to reiterate, we are in Ocala this weekend, and then we have one more week before we have a break until July. And I am starting to fill up in Tampa. I'm gonna put out the some guests starting tomorrow. I need to go over all that. I'm probably gonna be adding some as we go. I'm gonna try to create a page on the website for that specifically. That is Tampa Toy Con. Now I'm going to stick with Ocala this weekend, and so vendors, if you're on here, we're going to be, yeah, that might be the case, 12 by 12. If you're on here, I'm going to send out setup information in the morning, and it's going to be a page, like before, where it's going to have the times and everything. And we're not having any setup on Saturday night. I do know that, and so it's just going to be 6:30 on Sunday. And parking is free for customers that are interested. Parking is free. We are sticking with our 2026 pricing, which is 9 to noon, and then noon to 3:30, 4 o'clock is 10. So that's just we've done that every show this year, and I think vendors would agree it's worked out really well as far as the flow of the show. So we get those early birds at the beginning, and then at noon we get another set. It's like another grouping of people. So we had lines at noon and we had lines at 9, and so that makes it so it's fair for everybody. Again, this space is not one of our biggest spaces, but we are starting out, and it takes time to move shows around. So but that being said, let me go ahead and show you guys the space here for the show. Let me go ahead and share that. Oh, it's telling me remove something. Okay. So here's some pictures of a show. This was back a year ago in July. In this space, it's very similar to, I'm going to say Altamont as far as the space goes. So you got Barbies here.
Oh, there's Tony in the background.
Yeah. And then you got Hot Wheels. Abe will be there with his wrestling and anime and stuff like that. And then let's see. You got Alex here. He's not setting up. This guy isn't setting up. But you get an idea of what the room looks like. This is Mike's booth. Always upgrading his booth there. You'll see that you got Lisa there and Margaret. And so this is the space. This is outside, out in the lobby. We're gonna have vendors out here. This is gonna be completely full this time around, just so you guys know, because we may have the admission table down on the other end. I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, there's gonna be vendors out in the hallway this time. And then we've got a couple more pictures of the show. This is kind of what it looks like empty. And all right. Okay. And so that is Ocala this weekend. Our same hours, 9 to 4. They are, I believe that's correct. So they're actually 6 by 6.5, I think, because you got the table itself is 2.5 feet, 30 inches. I think it is. Yes. Okay. And yeah, we send us some pictures of this Columbus show or whatever, William, and I'll check those out. Again, that is Ocala this Sunday. This is our third Ocala show, and it may or may not be the last one for the year. Last year we did one in November also. I don't know if that's going to happen right now. I don't have anything in November, but I am gonna be adding something in November for sure. So I've got to work on some places to do that. And then let's see. Okay, and then let's go back to the schedule. And then okay, so just to give you guys an idea of some what's happening. So um Coral Springs, all of the walls are sold out, and I think I'm down to a couple corners, and I still do have some aisles for that. This is gonna be this will be an amazing this whole month is should be an amazing shows. Okay, this will be the first time that we're in Fort Myers in July. um I do think that that's going to be good. And then I am going to be announcing guests for the that's guests with an S for the Star Wars and GI Joe show. I'm going to be doing that very here shortly. And then I think some of these other smaller ones are starting to fill up already. So I do need to follow up with the World Golf Village though on that one. So but anyway, yeah, all of our stuff is available at floridatoyshows.com. Everything's updated right now for what is available. I think we have shows on here through Altamont, and then I'll be posting these last two here soon. All right, let's see. I think that is about it. Let me go ahead and I did start to make some notes. Let's see. I talked about Ocala and Tallahassee this Sunday. Let's see the setup. And I will send out the setup here in the morning. Let's see sample posts to come. If vendors have specific, if you're a vendor for Ocala and you have specific stuff that you want posted, please send it to me in the next couple days. Don't wait until Saturday morning when I'm packing up to go to Ocala to say, hey, will you post this? Please send it to me in the next 48 hours. Okay. That way I can set up those posts. And I will be yeah. Okay. I'm gonna post. I'll post that in a second. Please, send me the things that you want posted. All right. You and your brother Kyle had a great time last year. Hopefully you guys had a good time in Kissimmee. I mean, I know you were there. I think it was a decent show there. And then and we appreciate you being there, Joel, and your brother there. And then it says Fernando, good evening, for making nephew dream come true. Best show we have been to. Transformers rules. Yeah, awesome. That is amazing. Sometimes I don't think vendors probably don't see this that much, or I mean maybe they do. Okay, but we do have people that come up to us. At least I'm sure has had this happen. That people really like. They'll come up and talk about our shows and how they love that we are doing them and everything. And that's really, we like buying toys and stuff, but this is really part of what we love about doing the show. And it makes all the work that we put in, for the show. It makes it worthwhile and all that. Cause it can be pretty stressful sometimes putting these on. And especially when we're doing 3 in a row, or we're just trying to keep things moving and all of that. So I appreciate your comment there, Fernando, and I hope to see you again at another show. And you had a repeat customer from Kissimmee. That's great. All right, and so we are trying to get new people. So vendors, please share our show. I mean, I need to give you more flyers and all of that for sure. There's lots of things that I should be. I could. Flyers is my main thing. I need to get flyers out to vendors. I need to get flyers out to stores and stuff. That is one thing that I feel like I need to be doing. But it's just a timing factor. So we're going to get, I talked a little bit about help last week. I had a couple people reach out to me. And so I'm going to try to still improve things. So, we're always trying to do that. So, but anyway, all right, you guys have a good evening. I know this was a short video. And yeah, I am planning on them coming back to St. Augustine, hopefully in September. I got to follow up with them on that date. in St. Augustine. It'll just be one day at there. And then I had a couple, I had a Jacksonville location hit me up today, but I think that is also a small space. So I don't, I really want to have a space that's at least 10,000 square feet. So, but anyway, all right, yeah. So I know this was a short video compared to some of my other ones, but really, we just came off a show and we're going to the next show, and I think Lakeland was really, really good. And we're gonna try to book it again, and we'll see you guys Sunday. See you later, there, Mike and more. All right, have a good night. Bye now.